Do you think that the psychological problems, the mental illnesses, are an invention of the human being?
That is an easy question. There are people, actually all of us, will face difficulties in life. Life is not easy. And if these difficulties become too overwhelming, you can somehow collapse. You can become anxious, you can become psychotic, you can become depressed, you can become almost anything. So, of course, there are problems. But the next question is, are diagnoses reliable in psychiatry? They are not. When you have asked the same psychiatrist to see the same patients independently, they disagree very much about the diagnosis. So the diagnoses are highly unreliable. And many people call schizophrenic, for example, when they are seen by other psychiatrists, they conclude that they have never had schizophrenia. The diagnoses are a big problem, and where you can see this most clearly, perhaps, is for the diagnosis called ADHD.
Yes.
When I lecture for patients and one of them suddenly says, I have ADHD, then I say, no, you cannot have ADHD because it doesn't exist. You can have a dog or a boyfriend or a car, but you cannot have ADHD. It is not something in nature like an elephant. It doesn't exist. It's just a name for people who are more active than other people and less easily disturbed, perhaps. It is just one end of a normal spectrum. At the other end of a normal spectrum, you have people who are too quiet. So when I lectured, I usually joked about when will we get a diagnosis for those at the other end of the normal spectrum. And then we got the diagnosis. This is called attention deficit syndrome without hyperactivity. They are just too quiet. So now my joke is, when will we get a diagnosis for people in the middle, so that the drug industry can make sure that everybody gets treated for ADHD or some other letter combination? I have used the adult ADHD test many times when I lecture, both for psychologists and for lay people and so on. And between 1/3 and 1/2 of normal people test positive for the adult ADHD test. When I tried it on my wife, who is a very energetic woman, she scored 6 out of 6, a full house. You just need a score of 4 to get the diagnosis. So I tried it on myself. I scored 5. Then we were visited by our youngest daughter. We tried her. She scored 5. Her boyfriend is a totally laid-back man whom you would never expect to score positive. He scored 4. So we were 4 people at the dinner table who all qualified for an adult ADHD diagnosis. It can hardly be more insane than this. And then people get treated with drugs that, if you buy them in the street, they are considered illegal. They are amphetamine or amphetamine-like products. But if you get them on a prescription, things seem to be okay. This world is insane. I'm sorry, but psychiatry is the worst example I can imagine.
Our conception about psychological problems, mental illnesses, is that the illness is in the system, is in the society, but not in the person.